Hi, I'm Lisa Hostetler Brown, and this is Legally Speaking with LawyerLisa. I know I've talked about trust before, but it's important for you to understand that there are different types of trust. A lot of people think that you only need a trust if you have a lot of money, and there's definitely trust that you need if you have a lot of money. But there's a lot of different types of trust, and particularly trusts that will preserve assets for people who don't have a lot of money, and trusts that will avoid probate if you don't want your heirs and devotees in your family to have to go through the probate process after you pass away. There's trusts that make things streamlined so that everything that happens after you pass away is as quick and painless as possible. So let's talk about revocable living trusts. A revocable trust is something that you create now and you put your stuff in it now. So if you own a home and you have a revocable trust, you want to make sure that you title that property into the trust. The deed should have you as trustee of your trust on it. If you've gotten a tax bill and you notice it's just in your name, it hasn't been done right. So there's risks to having a trust that's not properly funded, that's what we call it. If you don't put the stuff in there and then you pass away, that stuff still has to go through probate. So we want to make sure that the trust is done right. Now, what does a revocable trust not do, or some things that people sometimes think it does that it doesn't? The first thing is it doesn't work if you don't fund it. So your home, your cars, your bank accounts need to be titled properly. If things are just in your name, it's not done the way that it's supposed to be. And you definitely need to make an appointment to get that checked out. Your financial advisor, your estate planning attorney work together to make sure that your stuff is set up the way it needs to be so that if something happens to you or when something happens to you, everything is streamlined and flows through the trust, which is what you intended and what you paid for. The other thing that a revocable living trust doesn't do, in most cases, is it does not provide asset protection. I've had a lot of people come to me over the years thinking that when they set up the trust, they started the 5-year clock for Medicaid purposes, or that they had asset protection if they got in an accident. That's not what a revocable living trust does, with some exception. And so you need to make sure that you're getting very specific advice and you're weighing the options between, or in addition to, a revocable trust and an irrevocable trust. That irrevocable trust is the one that has the asset protection. So make sure you're going to somebody who knows the answers to this and that you're talking about it. If you've done your estate plan and there was no information about the different types of trusts or what might work best for your situation, you might want to follow back up, or make sure you go to somebody that does actually work in that area. Because if you have the wrong kind of trust, it can really bite you later on when you're trying to get access to benefits, or you're trying to avoid probate, or your family is trying to avoid probate, and it just hasn't been taken care of. So if this information is helpful, or you want more tips on your trust, please scan the QR code on the screen and visit our website. We have lots of information about trusts, and you can always schedule a consultation for your specific situation. Remember, all of this is general advice, and so if you want to know how it affects you, you need to make sure you're addressing it very particularly in a consultation so that you're protected and your family doesn't have to handle all of the problems that might come up. I'm Lisa Hostetler Brown, and this is Legally Speaking with LawyerLisa.